Here with Team USA Olympian Joe Brown, formerly of Texas A&M-Commerce, and now a thrower for Team USA. Joe, how's that sound still? A thrower for Team USA. Has that sunk in completely?
No, I don't think so. It's still just, it doesn't feel real.
Very real, though. We'll be competing next week in the field competition in the discus, and obviously everybody looking forward to you competing and seeing what you can do. And just start here. What's this experience been like in Paris? Being in the Olympic Village and being I don't know if you've ever been to Paris before, but like how has this experience been so far? Just to uh, be at the Olympics.
It's pretty pretty insane. So I went to the Pan Am Games in October, last October, and that was like my first ever Team USA experience, like outside of the country. And so that I feel like that was a good like preparation for this because it was pretty much like almost exactly the same except on a much smaller scale. And so that when I got there, it was like, whoa, what? Like this is crazy. This is like a big old giant summer camp for a bunch of high level athletes. And so like when I got here, it was like almost exactly the same. And so I think that helped me because it was like I wasn't super shocked when I got here. I kind of knew like what I was getting into. Um, so yeah, it's just like it's like summer camp. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're a bunch of kids at summer camp, except it's like the greatest athletes in the world.
I love that comparison. Kids at summer camp, but the greatest athletes in the world. Um, Take me back to the opening ceremony. Everybody, a lot of eyes on that, and everybody kind of saw the Team USA boat and LeBron with the flag. Some pretty iconic photos coming out of that. How was that experience for you with the opening ceremonies? And any cool stories from that? Were there any people that you met that you were like, holy cow, like I can't believe I'm meeting this person right now? Like anything kind of from those opening ceremonies that stick in your memory?
It rained on us like almost the entire time, so that was fun. It like, and everybody left. A lot of like most of the people left after we got off the boats, and so a lot of people didn't stay for the entire thing. And so it was just like a small group of us, Team USA, at the that actually went to the last part and walked through the stadium and stuff. And so that I felt like that helped me out because I got more camera time than I probably would have if the rest of the team were there. Um, but yeah, I sat next to some of the rugby players who weren't supposed to be on the bus going to opening ceremonies. I met them. They were cool. Some of the men's rugby players. Um, and yeah, I didn't meet any of the basketball players because like everybody was swarming around them, so I didn't want to just add to their stress. Um,
Sure.
but I was like right above them for like when we were all on the boat and stuff, and they got all those pictures. I was like right on top of them, so that was cool.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. All right, tell me a little bit about the pins. I can see them already. Now, what I'm guessing that's your credential. I see you've been collecting them. Just something. Tell me about that. Tell me collecting those. How much you enjoy that, and what's your favorite one so far?
So yeah, the pin stuff is like it's like an old tradition with the Olympics, where the athletes get they every athlete from each different sport gets, and each different sport in each different country gets like their own unique pins, um, and then we all trade them, and so like I've been trading my butt off here. So we got I think we got 10 from USATF and then like 20 from USOPC. Um, and then I also brought like my own custom ones that I made to trade with people. Um, I think like this. Okay, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
This one right here. This is the 1996
Oh, that's
uh, tennis one. That one's one of my favorites. This one is a Korea archery. That one's
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. Very, very cool.
Um, yeah, I think this one's Indonesia. It's like a dragon. Those are like some of my favorites.
Awesome. That's really cool. Okay, so you talk about custom. So I want to go back to the U.S. trials. We got to talk about the custom Pokemon shirt that you were rocking during your throw. Tell me a little bit about that idea, that coming together. That was really really cool and very noticeable. I love the Squidward socks, just all the personality coming out during the trials. So tell me about the shirt, getting that customized. You know where that idea was birthed.
Yeah, so I, if you're a Pokemon fan, you probably know where it came from, but like they used to have the commercials back in the day where, or when they were going to the commercial break, they would say, "Who's that Pokemon?" and like have you guess who that Pokemon was, and they would have like the silhouette, and then when they would come back, they would reveal who it was. And so I think it was 2 years ago or last year, Nick Ponzio, a shot putter from Italy, he got a custom kit made from Track Barn, and it was super cool, and everybody was like going crazy over it. And so I was like trying to think like, what can I do? I want a cool jersey like that. Like what I was trying to think of ideas I could make, and then I had a couple other ideas, and then I thought like, oh, that would be cool if I did like the Who's That Pokemon one, but instead of Pokemon it was me, and just say Who's That Thrower, because like that's what everyone's first question is when they see me, is like, who is that guy? Like I don't know who this guy is. I don't know anything about him, so like
So
I'm
dig
pretty
your heels
unknown.
completely to it.
Yeah. So
That's
it's just like it was perfect. So I was like, yeah, this is super cool.
so at the trials, you had quite a showing at the trials. If I'm and correct me if I'm wrong, but going into your third throw to get into the top eight, you had the throw that landed you in the top eight, and then you get that third spot by just a couple centimeters. I mean, just describe that experience. Describe the pressure that comes with that, and then your feeling afterwards. Even if it even hits you at that point of wow, I did it. I'm in the top three. I'm going to Paris.
Yeah, I mean, going like trying to make it into the top eight was like I made it. So I made it in the top eight on my second throw, but my third throw didn't improve my spot at all. So I was sitting in eighth, and that was not a good thing for me, because we still had one round to go. I was the first thrower out of 12, so I still had to wait for 12 people to throw to see if I made it into the finals. Um, and that was just nerve wracking. And so like pretty much the entire competition was just full of anxiety and stress and just emotions. And so by the time I got to that last throw, I just had to calm down, because that was the main issue I was having, was like I was too excited and like too jittery and jumpy. So I just like I had to calm down. So I told myself like, if you don't figure this out and calm down, you're gonna be done for your. This is the end of your career. Uh, and so I got like to the front of the ring, and I was like, well, it's now or never. And then that kind of calmed me down enough to where I could execute my technique the way I wanted to. Oh, it says reconnecting.
Nope, you're good. I can still see
Okay,
you. I can still hear you fine.
okay. Um, and yeah, so that helped me calm down a little bit, and I finally like it still didn't feel like a good throw, but like I got it in the sector, got it past the 65-meter line tape, and I was like, all right, that might be it. And then it still hadn't like registered that I did it at that point, and I was first in the order, so I still had to wait for seven more
Yeah.
guys to throw. And yeah, at that point, I was just like, all the emotions came rushing back in, and I was just trying to keep it together and not panic. but I was failing at that. And then when the last guy finally threw and like I found out I made it, I think I had a panic attack at that point because it was just too many overwhelming emotions coming in at once, and I couldn't breathe. And then somebody was just like, "Stand up," and like it kind of like snapped me out of it. And I was like, "Oh, I made it. We're here."
So coming back to commerce, so really felt like in your track and field career, just kind of looking at your bio, it seems like 2017 was the year things really started to take off a little bit for you, making nationals that year. Obviously, a lot of success in the discus, and obviously leading to 2019 when you won the national championship at the D2s. Was that kind of the year things started to click, or your training really started to show, or what was kind of that point where you really were like, all right, I got something here. I've figured something out here.
Yeah, I think that was like the point where I started taking things like a little bit more serious.
Mhm.
Before then, I was just like having fun and in school and not really like doing everything that would get me to like um like I was just trying to enjoy college and whatever. But at that time, I was like that. I think that's the year after that year because it was once I got to nationals in 2017. That was when I was like, oh, like I'm not that different than the rest of these guys, and like I could probably win this at some point. And so like, but then I was like, if I am gonna win this, I need to like take this a lot more serious and figure out like the mental side of things and learn like the stuff that I don't know. Um, and so that's kind of when that change happened. And that's what brought me to that national championship in 2019. And yeah,
Well,
started taking the mental side more serious and like also like recovery and like flexibility, mobility stuff.
what was that feeling like in 2019 when you finally reach? You talk about all the hard work, taking it seriously, putting all the work in, and then at that time, I guess until later on, but like at that time, you reach the pinnacle and win a national championship. If you can describe what that feeling was with everything paying off in that moment.
And yeah, at that point, it was like vindicating because like I bet on myself when no one else bet on me, and no one else thought. I mean, there were like a few people who like my close friends and family who were like, yeah, we know you can do it, but like for the most part, it was like everyone just thought I was delusional when I would say that I wanted to win the national championships. But like it was so it was pretty vindicating and like it validated like my beliefs in myself and my beliefs in what I could do. Um, and it was yeah, it was like that did feel like the pinnacle. Like this is super. Like this is the top right here. This is as high as I can go. But then it was also like, what else can I do after this? Like, if I put my mind to it and like apply myself like I just did for these last few years, like how high can I go?
Awesome, and here you are. uh, was there a moment when I know you'll put the uniform on here coming up on Monday when your competition gets going, but whether it was photo shoots or anything like that, was there a moment when you put that Team USA uniform on and we're just like, wow, like holy cow, I've done it. Even no matter what happens on Monday, I've made it. Like this is, was there a moment like that when you kind of either received your uniform or got something with Team USA on it?
Yeah, so it wasn't a time when I got any like piece of equipment or uniform or anything, but I was leaving the village one of the days and just like walking down the street, and there was a guy there whose sister is competing for basketball. I think the 3-on-3 basketball for a different country, and he's from like Atlanta, and so we were chatting for a little bit, and he said something like he was like you're an Olympian no matter what happens now. And like when he said that, I was like, oh, like I got chills when he said that, and then like I started tearing up. I was like, what's going on? That's crazy.
That's
Yeah, so that moment was like, I think that was when it kind of like hit me like, yeah, I'm at the Olympics, like surrounded by greatness, and like no matter what happens, like doesn't matter because I'm here. I'm here and an Olympian for life now.
absolutely, absolutely, you are. Um, Going back to commerce, so after you graduated from A&M-Commerce, you still lived in commerce. You still trained at commerce. So what does that community mean to you? Obviously, head coach George Pincock was there. Was the head coach when you were there and still is leading up to today. What's that community, that program mean to you that you still want to stick around, be around, and train on those grounds?
Yeah, the community is awesome. Like I'm a part of the Rotary Club in Commerce, and like I love doing all sorts of things like around the community, and it's because like it's a small community, so it's like everybody knows everybody, and everybody's always like willing to help, like no matter what it is, and it's just it's a great place to be because it's small, it's cheap, it's quiet, it's safe, and like there's there's really like no trouble to get into, and like nothing bad. Like the worst thing that can happen is like maybe you get pulled over and get a ticket, but other than that, like, and even if you get pulled over, you probably won't even get a ticket because the cops, everybody knows each other. So like, if you get pulled over, it's probably someone you know. So it's awesome being in that community, and it's awesome being like around the program, um, especially like with Coach P still there because he was my head coach for since 2015, all the way to 2019, and it's just like he's kind of been there to like watch me grow up basically. So he's seen the whole journey, and it's awesome. Like I get support from them. I get support from everybody in the community. Like they did that send off for me, which was that was just crazy. I've never seen anything like that. But that it's yeah, it's just an awesome community, awesome program to be around.
Let's jump back to that send off as you bring that up. Like, you talk about some of the chills and the emotion you felt, throughout this journey. What did that feel like? Just seeing folks that have watched you for years and have been around you for years, and to feel that kind of support as you're heading off to your next journey in Paris.
Yeah, it was super nice. It was good because it was like it was a few people who have been there throughout all the years, like Judy Sackfield and Coach Pincock, and then there were a lot of people who I just recently met this year, um, who were there. So that was cool too. Like there were new faces that didn't know me that well and that long, but they still came out to support. So that was awesome, the whole thing was like it was supposed to be a surprise, but I I kind of found out about it a little early, but yeah, it was awesome. I didn't know it was gonna be like that.
Three Olympians from Texas A&M Commerce, all from the track and field program at Paris 2024. You have yourself, you have Ibrahim, who's representing Ghana on the track side, and you have Mariana representing Ukraine on the track side. Have you been able to catch up with them, talk with them at all? And then just as an alum, I mean, you have a lot of schools that can't even say they have one or two Olympians, and then here you have Texas A&M Commerce, who's just moved up to D1 with three. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's insane. I have not seen them yet. There's so many people here, and there's so many
Sure.
places to go around. I haven't caught up with them. But yeah, it's crazy that there's even one Olympian from our school, let alone three. Um, and yeah, it's just a testament to like the work ethic that the people who go to Commerce have.
As you watch Commerce, moving to the D1 stage. I talked about we talked about the Olympians that are there. JT Smith, who is not in Paris, but has been a world champion for Team USA in the last few years, and really a program that, if it wasn't for a transition year, would have had athletes competing at the national championships in Division One. So as you just watch this program continue to grow under Coach P, just talk about watching that program continue to excel, and how you left your mark to what it is now.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool to see. It's cool to see the growth of the program as they are entering this new era that they're in, and seeing where things could go with the program as a whole. Um, and it's just like so many like cool things and experiences and opportunities that they will have, that I never got to have. So it's like I get to kind of live through them, live out my collegiate dreams through them. But it's also cool that like I'll be in the history, like the record books for forever, since I was the first discus national champion for the school. Um, so it's kind of cool that like I'll be there, and I got to leave my mark on the program, and to see like what new crop of throwers can come through, and like what they'll be able to do.
Yeah, forever etched in history. No doubt about it. Okay, I have one just kind of maybe weird, funny question. So you go by Joe Brown. We all know Judge Joe Brown. Have you ever met him? Is that someone you want to meet? Is that somebody of interest as far as a celebrity? Joe Brown meeting Joe Brown.
I've never met him, but like my mom always watched the court shows like when I was growing up, so like I always knew about Judge Joe Brown. And so it would be cool to meet him, and have a Joe Brown collaboration or something like that.
It would be. It would be. So maybe after Paris, we got to get y'all linked up somehow. We have Joe Brown on. Maybe get you on Joe Brown. Not for anything bad, of course, but one way or another.
Yeah.
So, well, Joe, we appreciate your time. Commissioner came on and mentioned we're all rooting for you and looking forward to seeing you perform. Monday will be the day. The discus competition will begin as track and field is just getting going over in the Paris Olympics. So good luck to you. We're all rooting on you, and like I said, we just appreciate you taking some time out for us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate this.